President Abraham Lincoln visited Antietam battlefield. Here, 2 weeks earlier, great armies in blue and gray met in awesome confrontation. In a single day, 23,000 men killed, wounded, captured. The bloody battle ended a tactical draw. The president, commander-in-chief of the largest army in history, comes to learn of the battle firsthand and to persuade his commander to renew the attack. For Abraham Lincoln, this secret visit to Antietam battlefield is also a mystic pilgrimage.
If I had my way, this war would have never commenced. But God wills this contest, and wills that it shall not end yet. We must believe that he permits it for some wise purpose, mysterious and unknown to us. I am only a humble instrument of our Heavenly Father.
Since the war, Lincoln has been ridiculed by the press and denounced by abolitionists and political adversaries, even threatened by assassination plots. The burden of power and responsibility showed on his hollowed face. In February, Lincoln's son Willie died of pneumonia, throwing the president and his wife into deep mourning and depression.
I've wandered to the village town, I've sat beneath the tree, upon the schoolhouse playground that sheltered you and me. But none were left to greet me, Tom, and few were left to know who played with us upon the green, who played with us upon the green, some 20 years ago, 20 years ago.
Lincoln has endured a long, hot summer, leading a broken nation at war with itself. Just 2 months earlier, Confederate armies seized the initiative along a 1,000-mile front. In the east, the Battle of Second Bull Run forced battered Federal troops to regroup in defense of Washington, stragglers of a defeated army. In the west, the telegraph also told of Southern successes. Before the Battle of Antietam, the South seemed strong and determined. The North, confused and leaderless. Europe rumored the Union's defeat. Lincoln desperately needed a victory, an opportunity to publicly announce his plans for dealing with the issue of slavery. In September 1862, General Robert E. Lee seized the initiative and moved the war into Maryland, a slaveholding border state, its loyalty to either side untested. He knew if he could successfully threaten the North, Britain and France might intervene, and perhaps a divided nation forever. To turn back the rebel invasion, Lincoln chose General George B. McClellan. The majority of his cabinet opposed the appointment. Little Mac's reputation for arrogance and his overcautiousness in battle made him unpopular with the powerful men surrounding Lincoln. McClellan displays little respect for the president and resents his meddling in military affairs. Lincoln struggles for solutions as he reflects on the state of his Union.
I have no word of encouragement to give. The Army is not settled down into the conviction that we're in a terrible war that has got to be fought out. They think there's a royal road to peace, and that General McClellan is to find it.
In spite of their differences, Lincoln knew McClellan was a good organizer and loved by his men. He respected this.
General McClellan, dispatch.
I would hold McClellan's horse if it would bring us success.
Before the battle, fate intervened for McClellan. A Union soldier found Lee's tactical plan for the northern campaign. Suddenly, McClellan knew his daring enemy's every move. Lee divided his troops, sending half to take the arsenal at Harper's Ferry. McClellan, in pursuit, moves miles of men and materials toward the vulnerable enemy. 87,000 Union soldiers advancing toward Lee's meager force. But at South Mountain, McClellan hesitates 2 days in front of the enemy's hard-fought delaying action. This reprieve allows most of the Confederates to rejoin their commander at Sharpsburg, Maryland, a quiet, rural farm town. Lee's force of 40,000, outnumbered 2-1, was safe for the moment. The great battle would not come until the next day, September 17, 1862. During the 2 weeks since the battle, Lincoln has listened to mounting criticisms of McClellan's generalship. He now questions the great military victory that McClellan had earlier claimed at Antietam. McClellan wrote to his wife, "They tell me I fought the battle splendidly, and that it was a masterpiece of art." After the battle, the president ordered McClellan to pursue and destroy the rebel army. Yet, the general had done anything but that, resting, resupplying his troops, delaying.
I have just read your dispatch about fatigued horses. Will you pardon me for asking what your army has done since the Battle of Antietam that fatigues anything?
Lincoln arrives at the Army of the Potomac headquarters, resolved to get McClellan moving. He accuses Little Mac of having the slows. McClellan feels the president is ungrateful for his victory. He writes, "The president's ostensible purpose is to see the troops and the battlefield. I think his real purpose is to push me into a premature advance into Virginia."
Mr. President, welcome to the Army of the Potomac.
There are now strange tensions between these two men.
Present! Tom! Lieutenant Morrow, headquarters guard, sir.
Hold up! Up!
Good morning, Mr. President. Would you like to review the troops?
The rear, open order! Up!
Thank you very much.
Hold up! Up!
Lincoln devotes much of his Antietam visit to reviewing McClellan's troops and talking with the men of their ordeal.
Congratulations on the victory. Thank you, Mr. President.
These brave men, fathers, sons, whole families trapped in the tragedy of war. I give thanks to our soldiers for the good service they have rendered, the hardships they have endured, and the blood they have so nobly shed for this dear Union of ours, our glorious cause.
As they tour the battlefield together, Lincoln listens in patient silence as McClellan describes the events and strategy of the battle.
The entire expanse of the battlefield. I'll tell you where the rebels.
Lee had assembled his scattered forces on Antietam Creek. The rebel position was good, but Lee's back was to the Potomac. For the Confederates, to be defeated here was to be destroyed. McClellan's plan called first for a massive assault on Lee's left, This to be followed by a blow at the rebel center, ending with a climactic thrust